Welcome back to Awakened Reflections. Every person reaches a moment in life where they're faced with a choice. Stay silent, stay small, stay stuck, or rise, speak, and walk away from anything that no longer serves them. But rising isn't easy. It requires strength, self-respect, and a willingness to be misunderstood. This video isn't just a collection of ideas. It's a call to action, a reminder that your voice, your choices, and your power are yours to claim. We're about to explore 6 rules that, if you follow them, will change everything. These rules aren't for the faint of heart. They're for those ready to rise, to reclaim their power, and to walk away from anything that dims their light. Stay with me, and by the end of this video, you'll have the courage to face the people, places, and patterns that have been holding you back. Let's begin. Lesson 1. Speak your truth even if your voice shakes. You've been taught to avoid conflict, to stay silent, and to bury your feelings. But here's the truth. Silence isn't strength. It's suppression. Think of the man who stayed quiet for years, allowing his wife to walk all over him. He convinced himself that avoiding arguments was the noble path. But every day he stayed silent. She took a little more from him. Until one day, he reached his breaking point. He sat her down and laid it all out. His pain, his needs, his non-negotiables. You'd think she'd change, right? Apologize, maybe? She didn't. No apology, no transformation, no sudden realization. But something did change. He did. For the first time, he felt free. No more hiding, no more pretending, no more fear. He ended the marriage, not out of hatred, but out of love. Love for himself. That's the power of truth. It doesn't guarantee the outcome you want, but it does guarantee peace. When you speak your truth, you reclaim the power they thought they'd hold over you forever. Your silence wasn't weakness, it was a pause. But now, you're done pausing. Stop holding back. Stop swallowing your words. Stop carrying the weight of everything you're too afraid to say. Speak your truth, not for them, but for yourself. Because the moment you do, you're no longer a victim. You're no longer their puppet. Say it out loud. I will speak my truth. Write it in the comments. Declare it. Claim it. Let them wonder what happens when the person they thought they'd silenced finally speaks. Because when you do, their power crumbles, and you rise unapologetically every single time. Lesson 2, the power of walking away. Walking away isn't weakness, it's power. True strength isn't in how long you can endure mistreatment, it's in knowing when to leave. They'll call you selfish, they'll accuse you of being heartless, but that's because they were counting on your loyalty while offering you nothing in return. There's a story about a man who stayed at a job that drained him daily. His boss dangled false promises of promotions and pay raises, but they never came. Every year, he told himself, just a little longer, until one day he realized something. They had no plans to value him. So he left. No 2-week notice, no explanations, no guilt. He walked away from the lies, the manipulation, and the endless waiting. And while his former boss was scrambling to replace him, he was already building a life where he was valued. That's the power of walking away. It's not about quitting. It's about choosing yourself over people and places that will never choose you back. So if you're waiting for a sign, this is it. Say it out loud. I choose me. Write it in the comments. Declare it. Claim it. Let them wonder what happens when the person they thought would stay forever finally walks away. Lesson 3. Stop explaining yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. Some people don't want to understand you. They want you confused, doubting yourself, and desperate for their approval. There's a story about a woman who spent years explaining herself to a friend who constantly misunderstood her. Every disagreement turned into a debate. Every choice she made had to be justified. No matter how much she explained, it was never enough. One day, she stopped explaining. She realized that her friend didn't misunderstand her by accident. It was deliberate. People like that thrive on control. and confusion is their weapon of choice. So she stopped. No more explanations, no more justifications, no more pleading to be understood. And in that silence, she found peace. Not everyone deserves an explanation. Not everyone deserves access to your thoughts and decisions. Some people are committed to misunderstanding you because it gives them power. Take it back. Say it out loud. I owe them nothing. Write it in the comments, declare it, claim it. Let them wonder how you became so confident without their approval. Because when you stop explaining, they lose their grip on you. Lesson 4. Break free from the need for validation. They taught you to seek approval, to chase applause, to measure your worth by how many people clap for you. But here's the truth. Validation is a cage, and you're not a prisoner. There's a story about a young man who posted his achievements online, craving likes and comments to feel worthy. Every like was a high. Every lack of response was a low. He lived on this emotional roller coaster until one day, he realized something powerful. Their validation didn't change the reality of his success. So he stopped posting for applause. He stopped chasing claps. He learned to clap for himself, and suddenly everything changed. He was no longer a prisoner to the opinions of people who barely knew him. If you're still seeking validation, let this be the day you stop. Your value isn't up for debate. You don't need anyone's approval to be proud of yourself. Say it out loud. I am enough without their validation. Write it in the comments, declare it, claim it. Let them wonder how you became so sure of yourself. Because once you do, no one can make you doubt your worth again. Lesson 5. Burn the bridge with words they can't forget. They say burn the bridge and walk away quietly. No drama, no mess, just vanish. But sometimes, silence isn't enough. Some bridges deserve to burn loudly. Some people deserve to feel the flames. You see, this time you burn the bridge with words they'll never forget. Not out of hatred, but from a place of truth and clarity. Consider this. When someone has spent years disrespecting you, taking you for granted, and pushing you to your limit, why should you leave without telling your side of the story? Why should you walk away while they tell the world you were the problem? That's how they maintain control, by controlling the narrative. Not this time. This time, you speak your piece. Not to argue, not to seek revenge, but to be heard. Because sometimes, closure doesn't come from silence. Sometimes, it comes from finally saying everything you buried in your heart for far too long. It could be a message, a letter, or a single, unforgettable conversation. You don't need to scream, and you don't need to beg. Just speak. Tell them the truth in a way that leaves no doubt. Let them sit with the weight of your words. Words so sharp and clear that they can never forget them. They'll call you dramatic. They'll say you overreacted. But deep down, they'll know. They'll know you finally see them for who they are. And they'll know that this time, there's no coming back. Burning the bridge isn't about hatred, it's about freedom. It's about making sure they never have access to you again. It's about ensuring you never question yourself again. It's about peace. If there's someone in your life you know you need to walk away from, ask yourself this. Do I want them to keep telling my story? Or do I want to tell it myself? When you burn the bridge, do it with clarity, with purpose, and with words that echo long after you're gone. Let them know they'll never see this version of you again. Les PN 614. Their apology is a trap, not closure. You've been waiting for it, haven't you? That apology. The one that makes everything feel right again. The one that erases the pain, mends the wound, and gives you permission to finally move on. But here's the truth. Their apology isn't closure. It's a trap. Why? Because closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you. It comes from accepting that some people will never be sorry in a way that matters. And even if they are, It doesn't change what they did. Here's how it works. They hurt you, lie to you, or betray you. Then one day, they reach out with a message, "I'm sorry for everything." And for a moment, you feel it, the hope that maybe they've changed. Maybe they finally understand. But if you look deeper, you'll see what's really happening. Their apology isn't about your healing. It's about their guilt. They don't want to carry it anymore, so they hand it to you. It's a way for them to feel better about themselves, not to make things right with you. Think of it this way. If someone pushes you into a fire and walks away, an apology doesn't heal the burns. The scars remain. Apologies don't undo damage, and sometimes they're not even sincere. They're bait, a lure to pull you back into their world so they can do it all over again. Closure isn't something you wait for, it's something you claim. So if you've been holding your breath, waiting for that apology, exhale. Free yourself from the waiting. Free yourself from the hope that one sentence from them will fix everything, because it won't. Closure doesn't come from them. It comes from you deciding you're done. They might apologize, and when they do, you don't have to respond. You don't have to forgive them to find peace. You don't have to open the door just because they knocked. Say it out loud, "I don't need their apology to move on." Write it in the comments. Declare it. Claim it. Let them wonder how you finally broke free without their permission, because that's the real power move. Not waiting for their sorry, but being done with or without it. These 6 rules aren't easy, but neither is staying in places where you're not valued. Each rule is a step toward reclaiming your power. They may call you selfish, they may say you've changed, and they'll be right. You have changed, you've grown, you've chosen yourself. If these rules spoke to you, leave a comment, share which rule hit the hardest. And most importantly, don't just listen, act. Your future self is counting on you to rise.